I just learned about manifestation. Now I'm gonna get...
The act of manifesting.
Manifesting methods.
Manifestation method.
9 times. So you're gonna write.
The Abundance Journal is not a spiritual tool. It is a high-definition receipt for your own stupidity. It is the final proof that we have collectively decided thinking is too hard, and we would rather just buy a notebook that promises to do it for us.
Most times, it's enough to just script a desire once.
Do you want to tell people what they need to hear or what they want to hear? They want to hear, you just have to manifest it into reality.
We have to start with the money, because that's all that it is. The manifestation industry, it's a $193 billion pyramid scheme, which is built on one single parasitic idea, that success is a reward for moral purity.
Fella feel better than knowing some she-shaman meddled with free will by means of witchcraft in order to find a mate. And unlike the rest of us, who have to attract people by earnestly flirting and by exercising, caution, in order to suppress red flags.
And poverty is just a symptom for your defective frequency. And that is the laziness tax. This targets only a specific demographic of people who find actual skill acquisition too low vibe to handle. And the pitch is seductive, removes the variable of effort. Instead of working, you just have to want things really, really, really hard. But no. It turns out that the universe becomes a gigantic cosmic vending machine where currency is delusion. And if you stare at the vision board long enough, maybe Alexis might appear, or maybe a mother will appear with your slipper and beat the fuck out of you. Like this. But anyway, that created a perfect market for the manufacturer exclusivity. And since you are currently paying a 500% markup for sacred tools such as crystals, mass-produced trash from the factory in China, and since now you don't like to buy products, you actually like to get a spiritual receipt for a life that you are fundamentally too lazy to earn, since the transaction is just simple. You give them your real hard-earned money, and then they will give you the permission to sit on your couch while you're waiting for a miracle. It is a donation to the church of your own ego, though.
Station is not a shortcut around hard work. It's clarity, belief, and consistent action.
To sell this fraud, you need to look at adults who should know better, because the gurus need a disguise, and magic sounds too childish. If you look at prayer, that sounds a bit too religious. So the industry decided to steal a new vocabulary: physics. It took complex concepts such as quantum entanglement, which deals with subatomic particles in a vacuum, and then they decided to apply it to your ability to find a boyfriend who can actually text you back. They will speak to you about frequencies, vibrations, and neuroplasticity with the unearned confidence of a neurosurgeon who actually, despite having the professional history of a failed realtor who got fired from a juice bar. That is their scientific wannabe stolen valor. And they frame basic pattern recognition as bending reality. They convince you that you bought a magnetic wave that is capable of recognizing the molecular structure of galaxy. No, that's just your own stupidity covered as a premium spell, which is designed to monetize your ignorance. And the grim reality is that you are not shifting timelines. You are not a cosmic architect, yet alone you're just a normal person sitting in a dark room. Huh? But anyway, you confuse your own internal monologue with the laws of thermodynamics. Since the scam works so much that it flatters you, it tells you that you are a powerful human being that is enough to command the stars, when in reality, you cannot even command your own screen time, let alone a Uber Eats order. And another brilliant part of this scam is its defense mechanism. In any other industry, if a product fails, you get a refund. In manifestation, if the product fails, it's your fault.
The law of attraction did not receive it in that way. The law of attraction received that they didn't get it. It's just the way it is. So
they call it low vibrations. Imagine if you get to lose your job, you get sick, or you stay broke. It's not because of the economy or your biology. It's because you didn't believe hard enough. So this will start creating a wannabe victim blaming feedback loop, how I call it. And the guru is never wrong. The customer is just a spiritually defective individual. This creates another positivity prism for your brain, which is you become terrified of your own brain. You're gonna start to suppress every negative emotion such as fear, anger, or doubt because you genuinely believe that feeling sad will physically manifest a car crash. Since now you're gonna start making your entire life aligning your nervous system instead of fixing your reality. And since you like to walk around with a frozen or even fake smile, terrified that a single negative thought will ruin your timeline. Since now you are essentially the warden of your own mental cell, but you're guarding it for an empty room and you're just calling it spiritual freedom or spiritual enlightenment because that sounds better. It does not. And now after this whole roundabout, we arrive at the specific brand of brain rot, which I like to call, and it's known online, the lucky girl syndrome.
Syndrome. I'm sure you've seen it online.
I believe you can have lucky girl syndrome, and that on its own proves that you...
This is simply a rebranding of treating yourself or treatonomics, which is the art of going into depth to prove the universe that you are rich, which the logic here is actually quite moronic, but yet effective. To attract wealth, you must act wealthy. So you're gonna go and buy that $400 designer candle just so you can book a flight that you cannot afford. Since that aesthetic coffee that costs more than your hourly wage looks better on Instagram, you decide to do those things. And since you are effectively buying the feeling of not having to buy anything while being objectively bankrupt, the industry loves that and even thrives on this. It convinces you that fiscal responsibility is a scarcity mindset. And once you start spending your money, that is a signal of abundance. You're gonna treat your bank account like a glitchy app that needs debugging rather than a ledger to your actual life. And since you are performing wealth for an audience of zero, digging a financial hole, and you like to fill it up with good vibes. The final result of all this algorithmic paranoia brings us to the main character syndrome, which is taken to a clinical level at this stage. You start hunting for signs. You see 11:11 on a microwave clock, and then you think it's personalized text from God. You see a white feather on the street and think it's a download from the universe. Let's be clear here. Seeing 11:11 doesn't mean you are alive. It means you have functioning eyes or functional vision, and maybe a digital display. You have turned the random, indifferent chaos of the world into a raw-scratch test of your own desperation. You are stalking the universe for approval because you are fundamentally incapable of approving of stuff yourself. Since now you like to rebrand coincidence as destiny because the truth is too terrifying to face. The galaxy does not care about you. It does not care about your vision board, your lunch order, or your aesthetic. You're just projecting meaning onto static noise because you cannot handle the silence. Anyways, this manifestation cult is a monument actually to modern executive dysfunction, since it's a place where we replace character with a vocabulary of fake physics and a pile of expensive rocks. You are currently staring into a vision board, waiting for a life you are far too scared to actually live. The advice is simple. Stop. Go sit in a dark room, like more, until your ego finally starves to death. The abundance you are chasing is just a pile of receipts for expensive objects that failed to make you an interesting person. So go and stare at that wall of void until the void looks back at you and will start begging you to stop seasoning the air with your desperate and earned hope. Chip flip.
It's like a different body, yeah.